I choose love, love, love. Love, love, love. I choose it, love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I choose peace, 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 peace. Peace, 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 peace. I feel it, peace, 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 peace. I choose peace, 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 peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I choose joy, joy, joy. I feel it, joy, joy, joy. Every day it's joy, joy, joy. I'm choosing joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace.
No. Good morning, Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome. Happy Halloween. So I am, in case you can't tell, a zebra. Nay. And what is so awesome is I am looking out at a room full of all kinds of assorted things. And so hopefully we're going to take pictures. There's no hopefully about it. So we'll be posting pictures at some point. Welcome. If this is your first time here, we're so glad that you're here. And if you've been here before, we're also so glad that you're here. My name is Reverend Chris Ashley. I'm the senior minister here at Celebration Center. And we have a really fun service planned for you today. Of course, we have our Lynn Hollyfield, our butterfly, who will be who will be doing the music for us today, as well as Jen Fay in her Mardi Gras garb. Uh, we have Batgirl Irina Kurashevitz as our practitioner on platform today. And then back in the back for our technology, we have Bob the Builder and Flash the Sloth from Zootopia. So it is going to be a very fun, full day of laughter and joy today. Before we get started, go ahead and take out your cell phones and silence them for me if you have not already. And don't turn it off. Feel free to go on Facebook or YouTube and share our live stream out and comment on it. And, that's actually all I have to say about that. So if you are a member of our center in good standing and you have filled out a committed giving form and you would like to be a voting member, the application is now up. It will be posted in the comments if you're live streaming momentarily, or you can find that on the email that was sent out this morning. If you're here in the room, we can help you do it after the service on one of the tablets, or we will have paper copies for you to complete next week. So go ahead and get that filled out for us so that way on our annual meeting on November 14th, we have all of our voting members ready and accounted for and everything like that. And that is today, I forgot the other thing that we have going on today. It is New Member Sunday. And I am extra excited about this because we are going to be welcoming all of our new members in their Halloween costumes, which just makes me really happy, I'm not going to lie. So we'll be doing a new member ceremony. If you're a member of our congregation, you will recognize these vows. They're the same ones that you have stated over the years, and we'll all be saying them together because it's always nice to renew our commitment to this center and our commitment to this community. And with that, speaking of that, we are going to renew and remind ourselves of the vision of this community. We are celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. And now I'd like to invite Lynn up for an opening song.
The lyrics take on a new meaning when you're wearing antennas. Anyway, I'm going to start with an original song. This is called Just Begin. When you're feeling lost or a little blue and the world around isn't what you used to, and life shakes that dream, paints an illusion. What does it all mean? Take a deep breath. Now it's a start. Take a leap of faith from your weary heart. Pull out your colors from deep within. An old seed planted, now a flower blossoming. You thought the days ahead would be a little lighter. You thought your steps would have taken you farther. Wherever you are, it's It's where you need to be. Like in the night, dawn's around the corner, talking light. He'll teach you to be stronger wherever you are. It's where you need to be. Don't worry what's been, just begin. The world, it's twirling. Can you feel the ground? Plant your feet as you spin around. The walls have crumbled. You can't lean no more. Let the light in. All the doors are opening. You thought the days ahead would be a little lighter. You thought your steps would have taken you farther. Wherever you are, it's where you need to be. Like in the night, dawn's around the corner, talking light. He'll teach you to be stronger wherever you are. It's where you need to be. Don't worry what's been, just begin. Pull out your colors. You might think they're dim, but only your hand can make them blend. See for yourself what's right before your eyes. It's your masterpiece with no disguises. You thought the days ahead would be a little lighter. You thought your steps would have taken you farther. Wherever you are, it's where you need to be. Like in the night, dawn's around the corner, talking light. He'll teach you to be stronger wherever you are. It's where you need to be. Don't worry what's been. Don't worry, look within. Don't worry where you've been, just begin.
This is so wonderful, Lynn. Thank you so much. This is one of my favorite songs. It was written during the pandemic, the beginning. And if you haven't seen it, there's a beautiful video on YouTube. Good morning. My name is Irina Kurashevich, and I am practitioner here at the center. Practitioners are here to pray, and we welcome everyone who joined us today. And if you're new to the center, or if you're new to watch us online, please let us know. What is your name? Where are you from? Or just, put a smile in the comment or do something. Let us know. Is there anyone who is the first time here today? I don't think so. Oh my God, there are so many costumes that they all feel new. I just saw Ivory. It's hilarious. Oh, what a wonderful day to be here. I wish Halloween will be Sunday all the time, right? Okay, so as I said, practitioners are here to pray. And what we would like you to do to give us a try and send us your prayer request. You can do it via our website or just send it to the email prayer@celebrationcenter.org. Practitioners will take your prayers and will pray about you for a week. And we have a special group of people, the Ministry of Prayer. They're absolutely fabulous and powerful. They come together and pray in power together on all the prayer requests we receive. I forgot what to say. So give yourself that treat to be with practitioner. And you always can contact a practitioner and we will pray with you. As a platform practitioner, I will be available after the service, so please see me if you would like a prayer. Today's reading is from a book, A Holmes Reader on Change, written in 1995. There is no fear in love, and there is no liberation from fear without love. Fear is always based on the supposition that we are unprotected, rejected, friendless. If the fearful mind would entertain love and the harmony and peace that go with it, then it must turn from everything that denies this love and trusting in divine guidance, open its being to the influx of life, of love. Not just love of God, but love of everything. For love is all-inclusive conception. And I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable. And just relax in a chair or wherever you are. Probably you're laying on the floor. And just feel the support as the whole universe is supporting you. And I'm so grateful to speak the word of love, the word of spirit, the word of God, as God is all there is. And God is love, and love is God, and God is life itself. There is nothing else that is not God. And there is only one life. That life is perfect. That life is God's life. And that's my life right now. As I know that I'm one and inseparable from the divine. What else can I be if God is all there is? I am. And as I recognize my oneness, I know the oneness of humanity. I know oneness with God for everyone being present here. Everyone I love, everyone I like, everyone I know, and everyone I don't know and I don't like. I know that each and everyone is inseparable from the divine. Every being is perfect, whole, and complete as God created it. And I know perfect and radiant health. I know joy. I know peace. I know courage, harmony, laughter, beauty. And I release fear into nothingness, where it came from. I say thank you, fear, for serving me. And I let it go. And if there is emptiness in my soul, I take a breath and fill it with more love, with joy, with abundance, prosperity, as I know that that source is always, always, always available for everyone. That source is God. That source is life. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to know that I am and all is. I'm grateful to know that God is the power of the universe, behind everything, within and around everything. And it is a loving power. It is a creative power. I'm grateful to speak my words of co-creating the reality that I live in. And I simply release. I release my words into the law, knowing that they're already done in the perfect mind of God. And I know it for myself, and I know it for everyone else. And this is so. And so it is.
Yeah, Lynn. Ah. So, I am so excited because we are going to be inviting new members into our community this morning. So, Ivor, will you turn my microphone down just a little so I don't blast people out? Oh, okay, perfect. So, you can turn it back up now. I just was worried about what it was going to do. So, I would like to invite Brent Mast, Cheryl Hollis, Miriam Cuteless, what? Catellis. I was way off on that. Miriam Catellis. I was going to ask her before the service, but I was busy jelly beaning her, as you will see in a moment. That sounded really bad, y'all. Why don't y'all come on up? And Lynn Hollyfield up to the front. Yay! Jelly beans. Here, I'm going to have you come on this side of me, Lynn, so I can talk to all y'all. Can we? Okay, wait, no, okay. Keep your mask on. All right. Your antennas look beautiful. So, we have many members here at Celebration Center, and I've been thinking a lot about this idea. We've done a new member type class and a Science of Mind 101 class for a couple of weeks that really supports people in knowing what you're becoming a member of. And so I've been thinking about this idea of membership and really how it's this idea of ownership. And so everyone who is already a member and then these people who stand before us are really saying, I take ownership of this community. I take ownership of making this community my own and of having this beloved connection with one another and supporting the vision of Celebration Center. And so I'm so excited that we're welcoming y'all into the fold as members. And all of y'all have already been beloved supporters and attenders and congregants and all of these other things for quite a while. Some of y'all have been here for years. Some of y'all are our music director, and people probably didn't know that you weren't a member. And so this is just another step of standing up and taking ownership of our community. And so I have our vows, which I'm going to hand out to y'all, and then I'm going to put on we're going to put it up because we're all going to say these, not just our new members, but everyone who is a member of this community. And y'all will recognize these as the same vows that you have said when you've become a member and when you've watched other people become members. And so I invite us to all, and if you are at home, oh, but then I'm blocking people. Oh. There we go. Okay. If you are at home and you are a member of this community, we invite you to say these words along with us as well. This is my spiritual center. It is composed of people like me who seek love and truth. I make it what it is. It is friendly when I am friendly. Its seats are filled when I help fill them. It generously contributes to life enhancements when I am generous. It attracts others to celebrations and friendship when I attract them. It is a wellspring of loyalty, love, fearlessness, faith, and nobility of spirit when I, who make it what it is, am also these. Mindful of God in me, I dedicate myself to what I would have my center be. It is in this spirit that I desire to be a member of the Celebration Center for Spiritual Living. So, congratulations to all of y'all. To all of y'all. Rev Ryan, will you come take a picture of our new members? So y'all scrunch as much as you feel comfortable. Yeah. I didn't ask them to do this. Congratulations, y'all. Thank you so much.
Be hard for critters with antennas to play the guitar with a strap. Okay, here we go. Well, whatever. I'm one wing away. Okay, we're going to do Daniel Namad's song, Everything New. Bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying. I'm through waiting. I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something that's gone, that'll never return. I think I've learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through fearing, I'm through dreaming that there's ever any cause for doubt. No more wishing on somebody else's star that'll never be mine. Yeah, I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new.
Thank y'all. So today we are talking about this idea of I'll meet you there. And it comes from the Rumi poem, out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Where the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other. doesn't make any sense. So there's kind of a lot. It does feel like the world is very full this morning here at Celebration Center. We have, this theme that I'll meet you there, and then this quotes of ideas of wrongdoing and right doing and going beyond that. And then today is also Halloween, and it's also Samhain, it's also Dia de Muertos, and Diwali starts on November 4th. And we're wrapping up Zootopia. I know y'all are all waiting on the edges of your seats to find out what happens in Zootopia. You probably haven't slept all week. Probably, right? And then I know in my own brain, I have all of my other stuff going on, right? And so there's this kind of fullness that is going on today. And yet, we can just stop and pause and breathe and be together and lay in the grass with our souls out beyond those ideas of right or wrong or what needs to get done or anything else. Just allowing ourselves to be together in this beloved community. New members, there's so many things, right? And yet here we are. And I think, we have this yearly thing that I haven't mentioned in quite a while, but it's been this kind of underlying current of timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And I think that if we can get our souls, if we can get our minds to that field where everything else just falls away, we're just sitting in kind of that remembrance of the fact that there's only that one thing going on, that one presence, that one consciousness, whatever we call it, that is where the timeless wisdom is. And that is where the evolutionary vision originates from. This is where those two things kind of come together and meet and settle within ourselves. And so I've been spending some time this week just kind of sitting in that place. And just sitting in that place, honestly, not really allowing anything to come up, but just kind of sitting there. And what came to me this morning, while Lynn was singing, so we'll see how fleshed out of an idea this is for me, when I'm going through a challenging time, and when everything seems really hard, and when I'm having trouble getting grounded, there can be this real comfort in thinking about God in those messy parts, those messy, uncomfortable parts of my life. And it's interesting because, we have our spiritual mind treatment. We have our 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. You don't need to know. Spiritual mind treatment is our version of affirmative prayer in Science of Mind that Ernest Holmes developed. And that first step is recognition. And so what we are doing is we are recognizing that God or spirit or source or whatever we call it, that's all that there is. And sometimes, and so I use lots of lofty words and phrases, and I have grand pictures in my mind, and I think about not only this whole universe, but the multiverse, and then going even beyond that to what my finite minds can't comprehend because it's infinite, and how can we comprehend the infinite when we have these finite brains that we're living in? But then all of that is me too, because that's the only thing going on, and it's just this beautiful feeling of expansion. The thought that universal mind is the same thing that is keeping planets in perfect orbit around suns and galaxies billions and trillions of light years away, is the same infinite minds that is knowing how to breathe my body and beat my heart and replicate my cells. Wow, that's so amazing. And yet sometimes when I'm struggling, I can't quite get all there. And so instead I go to, well, God is in this feeling of sadness. God is in that messy, argument that I had last night. Or God, I don't really have a ton of arguments, but God is in this feeling of despair. God is with the people that are crying tonight in their beds. God is the loneliness. God is the hopelessness. God is the hurts and the anger and the upset and all of these things. And I was thinking about that this morning, and I was like, that really brings me comfort. And we ask a lot of times, well, how can God be everything if we see all of these things out in the world that, look so unlike God? But to me, I think the flip side of that is if we know that God is all that there is, then when we see these things that appear to us to be not that, then there's this potentiality that's there, because if we know that God is that, then there is this potentiality and this hope of, well, that is God expressing, and therefore this is that which is love and goodness and all of this. And so then I can come in with this microscope and I can look at it with God eyes, and I can say, what is here for me to know? Where is the truth in this also? Because it must be there, because God is this as well. And that just grounds me. And I can kind of take this out breath. And it provides this ability for me to sit in that field. Because if I'm able to see God in the despair and the upset or in the hopelessness or the anger or the frustration or whatever it may be, if I can see God in that, then all of a sudden, how could it be wrong? And then if it's not wrong, then nothing's right. And then all of a sudden, here I am in this field. And then when we can join one another there, then anything that is not working suddenly falls away, or suddenly becomes easy to see past and see that spark of potentiality that lies at the heart of it, that is that thing that we call God. Ernest Holmes, our founder, says, "We must transcend the appearance, even though we admit it is a fact. We are not so cold-blooded as to say to a person with pain that there is no such thing as pain. We admit the fact. It is quite different to admit its necessity. Disease, accordingly, is a fact, but not a truth." And so we can look at these things, and we can have compassion, and we can have empathy, and we can sit in them. And also we can know the underlying truth that God is still there, all there is. Principle is not sacrificed even on special occasions, even when the special occasion looks like despair or hopelessness or sadness or upset or whatever it may be. That is not a special occasion. God is still there. And so that brings me to Zootopia. So in Zootopia, if you remember last week, we left Judy Hopps, our fearless, attempting to be a real cop bunny, and she had ruined everything in her mind. She had ruined everything. She broke the world, and she went back to Bunny Burrow to work on her parents' vegetable stand, and she was very depressed, very sad. And there was all the fighting and the strife and the upset between the predators and the prey, and everybody feels unsafe, and the majority is against the minority, and the minority doesn't feel comfortable anymore. It's just real messy, y'all. Just real messy up in there. And so Judy is at her parents' vegetable farm, and she's running the vegetable farmer's market stand, and she's upset. And her parents come up and they try to make her feel better, and it's not working. And then all of a sudden, Gideon Gray pulls up in a pastry chef van. Now, if y'all remember, Gideon Gray was the fox that made fun of her and bullied her as a child. So she hasn't seen this guy in years, right? And he pulls up, and she says, "I've made life so much worse for so many predators." That's what she says to her mom. And her mom goes, "Well, not all of them. because now we're in partnership with Gideon Gray, this fox, and we never would have been open to doing that if you hadn't opened our eyes to the fact that not all predators or not all foxes are bad. And she goes, oh, that's really cool, guys. And so then she goes around to greet Gideon Gray, and he says, and this is profound, hold on, let me find it. He says, hey, Judy, I'd just like to say, I'm sorry for the way I behaved in my youth. I had a lot of self-doubt, and it manifested itself in the form of unchecked rage and aggression. I was a major jerk. That's what he says. And then she goes on to say, well, I know something about being a major jerk because she, feels like she's broken the world and all this. And I love this because I'm a big fan of Zootopia, y'all know. And so I was looking at memes about Zootopia a few years ago, and I saw this one where somebody was talking about that languaging of that apology is therapy language. And so he went to therapy, and he got help to become this better person so that then he was able to be in partnership. And I was like, yes, therapy, yes, right? I'm a big fan of therapy. Been in therapy multiple times throughout my life. And it just, the profundity of being willing to admit when we're wrong and being willing to show up and say, hey, you know what? I didn't do that great then, but now I know better and I'm doing better. That is what a beloved community is. It's not getting it right all the time. It's not being perfect all the time. Instead, it is showing up and then continuing to grow together and be together. So, really cool little moment. So anyways, he's having this conversation. Judy's there with her parents. They're all talking. And then all of a sudden, the little children bunnies go running through, and her dad yells at them, don't run in the, he says, don't run in the Midnacampum Halthosaurus. Oh my goodness, I practiced this too, and that was not right. And Gideon Gray goes, well, that's a big fancy word. I just call them night howlers. And now if you remember, night howlers are what they have been looking for. And all of a sudden, Judy has this aha that night howlers are these flowers. And that flowers, when eaten, these flowers are poisonous. And so her dad tells the story about how when they were children, one of them ate one of these flowers and went savage. And she goes, a bunny can go savage. And all of a sudden, it all dawns on her that these predators are going savage because somebody is poisoning them to make them appear like it's their biology. And so she goes rushing back to Zootopia, and she goes and she finds Nick. And then there's this really beautiful moment where she apologizes to Nick for the way that she has hurt and harmed him and the words that she said from her unconscious bias that we talked about last week, where she, she said, well, maybe it's in predators' biology and there's just nothing they can do about it. And they had this big falling out, if you remember. And so she apologizes for that. And then she asks him for help. And there's this really beautiful moment of coming back together and admitting, once again, I was wrong, I messed up, and that's okay. A mistake is just a mistake. It's just information and an opportunity for us to do better. And so then they go on another journey, another adventure out, and they follow all these clues, and they go find Duke Weaselton, who had stolen the moldy onions back at the very beginning that she was chasing down and inciting the scurry and all of that. And they find out who he's getting them for. And then it all goes to this ram named Doug. And Doug has an old abandoned subway car that he is making. It's a whole thing, y'all. Go watch the movie if you haven't seen it. He is making these darts to dart predators with that have this night howler flower in it and make them go savage. Yes. And so she tries to get all of this evidence to the ZPD, but once again, she kind of botches it. And she decides rather than calling for backup, she's just going to bring the whole subway car in. And instead, they almost crash into another train because they're on the same tracks and the subway car was abandoned. It hadn't been used. And so she almost crashes into that train, and they nearly avoid that, but then they crash their subway car in this abandoned station, and it blows up, and there goes all of the evidence. Except Nick saved one suitcase of evidence with just the dart gun and the dart in it, the one dart. And so they go rushing through the Natural History Museum that's closed for renovations. They go rushing through to bring it to the ZPD because they have all this proof of what's going on, right? And here comes Mayor Bellwether. And she says, I'll take that. And they both, all of a sudden, Judy goes to hand it to her, and then Nick and Judy at the same moment have this, how did you know we were here? I haven't called anyone yet. And this dawning realization that Mayor Bellwether, this little unassuming lamb who was Assistant Mayor Bellwether until the lion had to step down because predators were being called out, right? So now she's the mayor, so she has put all of this together so that she can stay in power. And so Judy hurts her leg as they're running away, so they can't run away anymore. And so Mayor Bellwether shoots Nick with the pellet gun and then calls the police and says, oh my goodness, a police officer has been mauled by a savage fox, right? And as Nick is stalking Judy, Mayor Bellwether tells her whole plan to Judy. And then right as Nick lunges, we find out that he hasn't been darted and he's fine. And she does a very dramatic death scene that's all pretend, right? And Mayor Bellwether goes, what is happening? And it turns out that they had hidden the pellet and put blueberries in there from Judy's farm, right? And and she says, well, it's my word against your word. And here comes that old trusty recorder pen that Judy used to blackmail Nick at the beginning. And she said, well, actually, it's your word against your word. And they had saved it all. And so Mayor Bellwether goes to jail, and everybody lives happily ever after, right? And so then Nick becomes a police officer. You skip ahead. Nick is becoming a police officer, and Judy is speaking at their graduation. And what she says, I think it's a really good speech, for a cartoon. She did well. She says, when I was a kid, I thought Zootopia was this perfect place where everyone got along and anyone could be anything. Turns out, real life is a little bit more complicated than a slogan on a bumper sticker. Real life is messy. We all have limitations. We all make mistakes, which means, hey, glass half full, we all have a lot in common. And the more we try to understand one another, the more exceptional each of us will be. But we have to try. So no matter what type of animal you are, from the biggest elephant to our first fox, I implore you, try. Try to make the world a better place. Look inside yourself and recognize that change starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with all of us. Right? So good, y'all. Yay! So good. And so as I'm thinking about this idea of I'll meet you there, I love this, we all make mistakes and we all have limitations, and so therefore we all have a lot in common. And so I've just really been wrestling with this idea of, instead of coming at everything from it's all so good and picture perfect and it's all love and brilliance and greatness, instead coming at it as these parts that are messy that I don't like to look at, this uncomfortable shadow stuff, that is also those are the meeting points, those places in ourselves that we don't want to look at. Those are the points where we can come together and truly step into community in this new way, in this bigger, deeper way. And often, because those parts of ourselves are deeper, because we've tried to shove them down as much as they don't shove well, right? Then all of a sudden, when we're able and willing to open up and connect from this sort of shadow self, our connection is so much deeper, so much faster, when we're open and we're authentic and we're willing to be vulnerable. And so, I will meet you there. I think of it as Halloween and trick-or-treating. And we, kids go out and they dress up and they go trick-or-treating, and it's fun and it's full of laughter and delight. And the reason that it's full of laughter and delight is because the appearance, whether they're wearing a scary costume or they look, however they choose to look, whatever fun they're having as the costume, that we know it's all just a game, right? We know they're pretending. And so we can look underneath that. What if we brought the same consciousness to everything? That despite the appearance underneath that appearance of that ghoul or Jack from The Nightmare Before Christmas, underneath that is just Ed. We love Ed. Ed's God, right? Or underneath the ghoul that the costume that the child is wearing, underneath that, it's a child. It's just God. So what if we approached everything in our lives with that consciousness? And then we meet each other there from that place of, oh, you're just God, because that's all there is. You're just God. And so, I have a tell us question for today. My tell us question for today is, what, I had one, but it's not the right one. Hold on. Is there an area in your life that is asking you to remember that underneath its costume is just more God or more love? And if so, if you're willing to share, what is that area? Or if not, how can you approach it? Like, what is something you can do to approach it and say, hey, you're just more God. You're just more God showing up in my life as this. And so for me, that would be, I'm taking this grief class right now, this grief facilitator training class. And so I have a lot of old grief coming up, which has been very unsettling, I'm not going to lie. And so for me, what it's been is this settling into, instead of trying to push it away or be like, oh my God, I hope I can just hurry up and get through this class to be done with this, instead just sitting in it and just being like, oh, I feel some grief. Okay, what is being called of me? I'm going to be more gentle with myself. And so I've taken more baths and more naps, and I've done more meditation, and I've eaten better food, and I've just been really gentle with myself. And so that's what's being called of me in this time as something comes up that is more uncomfortable. So what is a tool you can use? What is something that is called to you as you look at these things that have costumes on that are really just God? Does that question make sense? Yes, okay. So you can leave your mask on and come on up, or if you are online, we would love to see your answers in the chat if you would be willing to type them in. And Ivor, I will switch over to the other microphone. Anyone? I know, it's a challenging question. Miriam's like, oh no, I brought attention to myself. Okay, I have a different idea because that's a very vulnerable question. I invite you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. If you're at home and you're not driving, I invite you to close your eyes. And I invite you to think about a place in your life, an area or aspect of your life. Maybe it's something internal, a feeling or an emotion, or maybe it's something external, a bill you don't want to look at, or an area of life or a relationship that's really challenging right now. And I invite you to just bring it up and look at it in your mind's eye and say to it, you're just God in a costume. You're still the divine. And then ask yourself, what is being called of me right now? To reveal the God, to reveal the Spirit that is this situation, this circumstance, this experience, this emotion, whatever it is. What is being called of you in this moment? So what I know is that there is only that one infinite, absolute, eternal presence, that one thing, that thing that is orbiting planets around stars in solar systems and galaxies far, far away. That infinite, absolute, eternal presence that knows how to grow mighty oaks from acorns and hold redwoods up with shallow roots that are interconnected, that same infinite, absolute, universal mind is the same thing that is breathing my body and beating my heart and making sure that all of my organs and systems are running in perfect and divine harmony and balance in every single way. And it is that same thing that is showing up as each and every individual here, each and every individual online, that each of us is showing up as spirits in form, clothed in these costumes, and yet still that one infinite absolute presence. And so I know this to be true. I know that I know this, and I know that as we move forwards, that we can look at things with God eyes and be willing to be called deeper into the discomfort as a way of reaching more awareness of our own divinity, more awareness of that which is all that is. That God presence, that spirit, that divinity. And that each and every one of us is showing up and stepping up and doing that here as a beloved community. We are each able and called to be authentic and open and free in this community, showing up and being radically welcoming of one another and all of ourselves, radically inclusive of one another and all of ourselves. And I am so grateful for this community in which we can do that. I'm so grateful for the presence and the openness and the love that invites each and every person to show up as ourselves. And so I simply release my word. I let it go. I let it be. I know it is done as I have spoken, and so it is. And so now Len has another song, and I know y'all are going to recognize it, so I invite you to sing along quietly while still masked.
So I'm going to do John Lennon's Imagine. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. possessions. I wonder if we can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I love your version of that song. I love that song. So this is the time in our service for our giving, and your presence is a gift. I know I say it every week, and that is because it is so true that your presence is a gift, and we are so grateful for it. And so if you would like to offer your tithes or your tithes and offerings, then you can do that. If you're here in the room, we have baskets on either side, or you can go to celebrationcenter.org and click on the Give button, and it will take you to our secure website to give as well. And we are so grateful for all that you bring to the center, your tithes and offering, your time, your talents, your love, your energy, your presence, all of it. And so now I just invite you to metaphorically bring all of that to your heart, and let us say our offertory affirmation together. I open my heart to give and receive the blessings that our spirits promise to me. As I do, the entire universe conspires to give me an abundant life, and I open to accept it. And so it is. Oh, Irina, it's you. I forgot.
And I invite you us all to bless the generosity, as we know that the universe is abundance. It is not abundant, it is abundance in itself. And it is the source of all. And I know that generosity, prosperity, abundance live in this place. I know that the source is available. And I know for everyone that they give their talent, their presence, their financial abundance, easily and effortlessly, with a place they love, with the people they love. And I know that the Celebration Center is blessed. And I just simply say, in gratitude, and so it is.
And so it is.
All right. I'm so glad you're all here. And Andy, I'm going to sing your song, Place in the Choir. This is a Bill Stain song called The Place in the Choir. Thought it would be appropriate for today. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing high. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the bass, it's the one at the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with a big to-do, and the old cow just goes moo. The dogs and the cats, they take up the middle while the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey brays and the pony neighs, the old coyote howls. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing high. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. Listen to the top where the little bird sings on the melodies with the high notes ringing. The hoot owl hollers over everything and the jaybird disagrees. Singing in the nighttime, singing in the day. The little duck quacks and he's on his way. The possum ain't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. It's a simple song, a living song everywhere, by the ox and the fox and the grizzly bear, the grumpy alligator and the hawk above, the sly raccoon and the turtle dove. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing high. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. All God's critters got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing high. Some sing out loud on the telephone wires. Some just clap their hands or paws or anything they got now. All God's critters got a place in the choir.
That was awesome. Woo! Will you turn me down just a little, Ivor? Thank you. So instead of a benediction today, what we are going to do is, if you would like to come show your costume, I invite you to come up, and we're going to do a little parade fashion show of all of the costumes in the room for everybody who's watching at home. So come on up. And we're gonna make a little aisle. So Jen, do you mind moving your stuff, and you can come through. So come this way around, and then come back, so that way we're not walking on top of each other. Come on. Oh really, y'all? Y'all are all dressed up. Come on, Miriam. All right, you are now in screen, so. Here comes more. Oh, hold on, I gotta get off the. Come on, Andy. You got it. Yeah. Oh, they're not on Zoom now. And so it is. Oh. Oh, hold on.